Warning. This video might come across as a little bit grumpy, but it's a truth some of y'all really need to hear, so I'm going to do it anyways. There are a lot of really cool achievements that you can do in Apex, from cool badges to certain challenges, and of course the prestigious rank. And there are plenty of awesome avenues where you can spend your time to get a cool reward to flex to your peers, and after all, isn't gaming all about getting that external validation from other people rather than actually having fun in the moment? And I mean, to some, it is both. But today I'd like to talk about some things that people grind for that aren't really worth that much. And some of y'all might say, oh, just let them have their fun, let them experience these things or whatever. But no, I will put my foot down and not only share my thoughts on every single badge or whatever, but hopefully discourage people from spending hours upon hours grinding for something that they then find out that most people don't actually care about. And I mean, at the end of the day, most people don't actually care in general, and we could just end the video with that. But for now, I'll be talking about things that many players do spend way too much time and effort to achieve that can be really easy to get, and as such actually lacks value to get external validation. Obviously, these are things you can go for if you want to go for them, to feel good about yourself and to know that, yeah, I can do it. Just don't expect to impress anyone outside of your immediate friend group, and definitely not your crush. Sorry, Bob, someone had to tell you. Also, this video is probably a little bit cathartic for me in general because some of these things do actually bother me, and I just want to put my take out in the world. And I didn't get a chance to do so until I started working on this video, so let's get into it. Let's start off the video with something that's been kind of a hot take for the last few years, but thankfully has become more popular as of late. Achieving a high rank in Apex is just not that impressive anymore. If we strictly look at Season 17, practically anyone can get whatever rank that they want simply by playing the game long enough, thanks to the low entry costs and the matchmaking, and then they can speed up the process, not necessarily by performing any better, but just by ratting in a corner and booting up Subway Surfers on their phone as they wait. At the time of this video, we have over 300,000 Master players just a month or so into the season, which is definitely way more than what we had at the end of last season or any other seasons. There are so many first-time Masters that it's almost sickening. I hear about players getting Master for the first time all the time nowadays, and obviously, I mean, yeah, sure, good for you, but it just happens to be the players that struggle for years upon years finally getting it the second it becomes that much easier. So it's kind of hard to take it seriously. Not to mention, with so many players reaching the Master rank so easily, it dilutes the skill in the top rank, and one, it makes the actual value of being a Master player much lower, but two, and more specifically, it makes the game so much easier in the top ranks since the actual Master and Predator players are having a field day killing all the rats and undeserving Masters, if you may. I've been playing a little bit of solo queue casually in my time off, and by God, so many teammates either just run away when the action starts, or just immediately split off from the Jump Master, drops across the map, and AFKs for the whole game to get their placement points. It's ridiculous. Ranked has no value and is designed to make sure you spend all of these hours pumping up their retention numbers, and I don't think anyone should be going for Master rank this season, no matter whether they quote-unquote deserve it or not. You can absolutely play rank to get practice in a different environment than your ordinary public matches, but for the love of God, stop acting like you're better than anyone else just because you have a shiny purple badge. Now, obviously, as I mentioned towards the start of the video, there's obviously more to the game than grinding for a shiny badge or getting that impressive feat that impresses nobody. It's a video game. It is meant to be fun. Go play some fun modes or just try to have some fun in ranked instead of just chasing that external validation. You'll end up being so much happier for it. Just stop caring what other people think. Easier said than done, I guess. That being said, if we look past just Season 17, I've actually been repeating this mantra for as long as I can remember, and I stopped taking ranked seriously maybe in Season 4 or 5. After that, I kinda just stopped playing it as much, and focused on things that actually matter, such as stomping noobs in pubs as a Pathfinder. Obviously, that's not that much better, but it turned into some good content, and I actually had some fun while doing it, and that's what matters, so sue me. Next up, I wanted to rant about the kill-death ratio, because there are lots of reasons why you shouldn't take these seriously as a true display of one's skill. But despite that, there are so many people who act as if it's the perfect, true display of how good you are. And I'm gonna preface the topic with, yes, your KD can give an indication of how good you are, and if somebody hasn't used any of the tricks to fluff up their KD, it's usually safe to assume that they know what they're doing. But it's worth noting that even without fluffing, KD doesn't have to be the perfect comparison of skill either. You can have a way higher kill-death ratio by dropping more safely, kitting yourself up, and only doing the low-risk moves than somebody who drops hot, goes for lots and lots of kills, sends it into the first team that they see Insano style, dies, and then just does it over again. So if you do decide to compare the two, keep that in mind before you start attributing some value to it. But there are a few things, specifically when it comes to kill-death ratio, which makes me doubt anyone who flexes an absurdly high one. I'd say an absurdly high organic kill-death ratio for a typical WK player is anything above, what, 7? Not to say that there aren't players that do have even higher than that, and obviously they're absolutely amazing, but once you start going past 7 or maybe 10, you know something is up. Barring the first obvious suspicion that someone might just be cheating, someone with a ridiculously high kill-death ratio, for example, I've seen streamers with a kill-death ratio upwards of 20 or 30, generally speaking, never play solo. If anything, they exclusively play in a pre-made stack, they try really hard, and they just never lose. Because having a KDR of 20 or 30 doesn't have to mean that they drop that many kills per game, because the game doesn't count winning a game as a death. So if you never lose and only win your games, which you should if you're in a pre-made stack with other players who are around the same skill level, and trying your hardest to make sure you always win, you can easily get such inflated numbers despite only dropping maybe a handful of kills per game through the sheer time commitment and numbers game alone. Not only that, but as some of y'all might know, leaving a game doesn't count as a death, no matter whether you are knocked or not. And by the way, I actually tested this for this video, so don't come at me. So if you want to inflate your kill-death ratio, all you need to do is make sure to leave the game before the enemy gets their finish on you. Personally, I have left games when knocked, but that's not to fluff my kill-death ratio. I just do it because I'm toxic. But you can bet that some of the players that do play in stacks to fluff their kill-death ratio abuse this for sure, making it even harder for them to actually drop in KDR. So if somebody pulls up and starts flexing their 20 kill-death ratio, be real careful with what they are about to say, because odds are there's probably some tomfoolery involved. And now we have gotten pretty far into the video, and some of y'all 20 bomb or damage badge enjoyers may even have thought that I forgot about you. As everyone knows, there is something called bot lobbies. These lobbies are filled with players near the bottom of the SPMM ladder, and unless you're a trash tier player, they will be a lot worse than you are. Bot lobby players are typically incredibly new to the game or just incapable of learning how to play. And they're called bot lobbies because these players are interchangeable with actual AI playing the game to fill the servers up. And I am sorry to burst your bubble, but almost every, if not every 20 bomb that has been earned was in one of these bot lobbies. Now, obviously, most people don't actively look for these, but the matchmaker will occasionally throw you into these ridiculously easy lobbies for whatever reason. And that's when most players tend to find the game much easier, and that's when they end up grinding out these huge, impressive games. There are also ways to force the matchmaking to put you into bot lobbies by either tricking it that you are a new player, by throwing your own games and stats down the pit, or making a completely new account to farm these low lobbies until the matchmaker kicks in. Either way, getting a high amount of kills this way is pretty cringe. And it is hard, if not impossible, to know if somebody getting a high kill game got it through legit means or cheesing the matchmaking. And as for damage badges, obviously there are plenty of ways to get high damage games, or even 4000 damage badges in typical non-bot lobby matches. Of course, it should be easier in the bot lobbies, but 4000 damage badges are still overhyped for a different reason. They're very easy to get if you just stay on the move and use a poking or slow time to kill weapon, such as the Scout, the RFU-1, the Spitfire, or the Charge Rifle. And if you really try to force it, getting these high damage games is easy as pie. And I want to make it completely clear, I think going for these goals is completely fine. I just don't want anyone to waste their time grinding these things out just to impress anyone else. There are plenty of ways to cheese these things, and as a result, they simply aren't taken seriously anymore. If you do go for any of these goals, you should do it for yourself, and you should be proud of yourself doing it the right way. But honestly, just trying to kick back, playing the game, and trying to have some fun with it by challenging yourself, or playing the game to enjoy it in the moment in a more casual scenario, is a lot better than bleeding yourself dry sitting in a bush for 4 hours a day just so you can have a purple ranked badge that nobody cares about anyways. So thank you guys for listening. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like, subscribe, and of course check out the video on the screen if you want to waste some time on my videos instead of in Apex. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.